This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Landmark College, offering comprehensive support for students with learning disabilities, ADHD, and ASD. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College, we teach differently. This is Dr. Ned Hallowell, and welcome to Distraction. Today we have truly an unusual episode. I can tell you I don't think I've ever met a guest quite like today's guest. I was giving a lecture at Inventive Labs, a unique place in its own right, a sort of a think tank for young entrepreneurs. And in the audience, there was a woman who I spoke to at the end. And when she told me her story, my jaw simply dropped. And I said, I have to interview you on my podcast. But let me just let her tell you her amazing story. I don't think you've heard a story like this before. In fact, I'm quite sure you haven't. Welcome to Distraction, Courtney Wilson.
Thank you.
Please jump in wherever you'd like to.
Well, I guess I can start after Phillips Exeter Academy. I went from there to Wellesley, which is an all-women's college in Boston. And I was a creative writing major, and then I became an Army engineer.
Wait a minute. That's not the typical destination for a Wellesley graduate. You don't go from Wellesley to becoming an Army engineer. How did that happen?
Very randomly. I originally started doing ROTC, and I really loved the idea, especially coming from, a place of privilege like Exeter and Wellesley. I wanted everything in my life to be earned, not given, and everything you have is because of hard work and merit, and that really spoke to me. So I served for 7 years. I was stationed in Washington State, and then spent a year in Afghanistan as a platoon leader. And we were a construction engineer platoon, so we did a lot of road repair, security checkpoint, building, forward operating base construction. And then I came back, stayed in for about 3 more years, and eventually got out as a captain.
So you managed logistics and coordinated soldiers, and am I correct? You also, somewhere along the line, were diagnosed with attention deficit disorder?
So that actually happened while I was getting my MBA after the military.
Okay, so you were doing all this, going to Exeter, going to Wellesley, serving in the Army, getting a Bronze Star, overseeing, coordinating soldiers with undiagnosed, untreated ADHD.
Yes.
How did you manage to do that?
I wanted to do it, and so I just made it happen. And I think that I had gotten pretty good at creating, adapting and knowing myself. So I was able to just put structures into place. And being in the military absolutely helps. You don't have to worry about what you're eating, what you're wearing. You don't have to worry about buying clothes. Even as you change jobs and I think I had 17 different addresses in 7 years, but every single place that you go, you're going into the same organization. So I knew where my gym would be. I knew where I would do my shopping. All the commissaries are set up the exact same way. So in hindsight, the military was absolutely the biggest blessing. I thrived there because of the structure.
Right. So now you're in Texas in the Army, and lo and behold, you decide to go to Babson, and then you started your business.
Well, so I started Dropzone For Veterans actually 4 weeks into my Babson career.
So Dropzone For Veterans, your business, is now based at Wheaton College.
Right now, during the summer, I have a team of interns, so I work both out of my house and then 3 days a week come in and work with the interns as well.
And what do you do? What's the business?
We connect veterans and their families with curated resources that are aligned with their passions so that they can thrive, not just survive after the military, and are personalized to what they need, what they want, and we give it to them when they need it and when they want it.
So let's say I just came home from Afghanistan, and I'm feeling depressed and burnt out and lost. Am I a candidate to find you?
Absolutely.
And how do I find you?
You go to dropzoneforveterans.com. We're doing a lot of organic marketing because right now 70% of veterans or 50% of veterans will never use a resource or benefit that's available to them, but 70% of veterans who do use them have found out through word of mouth. And so that's why it's really, really important that these veterans are using these resources, because this is how people find out about it.
So where do these depressed, unhappy, post-traumatic stress disorder kind of veterans usually go? Do they go to the VA? Do they go to bars? Do they become homeless? I mean, you must know this population pretty well. How do you find them?
So it's not as simple. There's 22 million veterans in America, and the thing is we are as diverse both in personality as well as demographics and location as all of America. So it really depends on who specifically you want to target. Like, you know, there's a lot of veterans who are in school. There's other veterans, like they're working government jobs. Some are at the VFW. It's really not as simple as just saying, oh, you know, veterans, this is where you find veterans. It's all very unique.
Well, where are you finding your customers, for want of a better word?
Through personal networks, word of mouth. We do referrals, and for every one veteran who we reach out to, we're able to bring about 3 more in because of referrals and word of mouth.
And once you have one come in, what do you have to offer them?
So we have a database of 116,000 different resources, benefits, and opportunities. So anywhere from you can get sponsored to through hike the Appalachian Trail. It's long distance endurance therapy, like wilderness therapy. You can go to a 10-day outdoor healing retreat. There's neurofeedback.
You have 116,000 of these curated resources?
Yes.
Wow. How did you build those up?
A lot of hard work and people who are smarter than me with data collection.
That's amazing. And how long have you been at this?
2 years.
Boy, Courtney, that's remarkable. And what kind of success rate have you had? How do you measure the help you're providing?
So we measure it by the things that we care about are that we get veterans through the door. So we've been able to get 10,000 in so far, and then we are also tracking not just if we put resources in front of them, but if they actually are utilized. Because what we are finding is there's so many people who want to help veterans that it can actually be pretty overwhelming. And so what we care about is that it's not just veterans are aware of these resources, that they're actually using them, receiving the benefits, and then can go, talk to other veterans and be the proof, hey, this stuff does exist and it does work and it can change your life.
It's remarkable, Courtney, what you're doing. It's really remarkable.
Thank you. In the Army, somebody once told me potential is nothing, actual is everything. And so I see and saw all these people who wanted to help, but they're not able to connect with veterans. And then there's all these veterans out there who could benefit. That's not a real problem. That's just a connection problem. And it's wait, we have people with solutions. We have people who need those solutions. You put them together. That's what you do.
Yeah. Well, you've done that. And so now you just need people to reach out to you. Courtney, Courtney, at dropzoneforveterans.com. Please, everyone listening, send her an email. Get involved however you can. I mean, this is a real way, instead of just saying, yeah, I want to support veterans, and who doesn't want to support veterans, but here is a way where you could add a little bit resource, money, whatever, to support this amazing young woman, only 32 years old, and look at all that she's done on almost nothing. How many 32-year-olds have a degree from Exeter, Wellesley, Babson, and a Bronze Star? And she's so modest, I had to pry all these things out of her. And she's helping all these veterans. Please reach out to her, Courtney, at dropzoneforveterans.com. I don't often get really almost choked up with admiration for a guest, but I sure am for you, Courtney. Well, thank you on behalf of all our listeners and the entire country. I mean,
thank you.
This is not political. This is human. And what you're doing is remarkable, really, really, really remarkable. We'll have to have you on again in a few months and see how you're progressing with this incredible effort that you're mounting. Thank you so much for coming on Distraction.
Thank you.
Well, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell. If you have a question for me or a show idea for us, email it to connect@distractionpodcast.com. Or better yet, call us and leave a voicemail. Call 844-55-CONNECT and leave us a message. We really look forward to hearing from you. We need to hear from you. We look forward to hearing from you. We want to hear from you. So 844-55-CONNECT or email at connect@distractionpodcast.com. Distraction is produced by Collisions, the podcast division of CRN International. Collisions, podcasts for curious people. Our sound engineers and editors are the wonderfully talented Pat Keogh and Chris Latham, and our producer is the multi-talented and unbelievably brilliant Sarah Curtin.